Let me find my. There we go. Andalusia Marine, located in Andalusia, Alabama. Your express, all-wheel, stick steering, Polarcraft, Starcraft, veranda pontoon dealer. One call heating, air, and refrigeration, Mr. Stephen Dubb, air conditioning guy you can trust. RMC Mechanical Contractors, located in Chelsea, Alabama. Give us a call for all your industrial contracting needs. Styler Arms, located in Bessemer, Alabama. You can also pick these rifles up at Simmons Sporting Goods. That is a Steyr Scout in that picture. I've been hunting with a pro hunter for about 30 years, guy. One of the finest rifles made. Pick one up today, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Alpha Plumbing, Mr. D. Robinson. He's been with us since day one. Call him for any of your plumbing needs, a plumbing guy you can trust. CT Ward Power Sports, Camden, Alabama on Highway 28. Your Excel center console, side console, golf your pontoon, Hustler Lawnmower, and Mercury and Yamaha service dealer. Power Brakes. If you want to get your total boat control under control, get you a set of these. Give old Chad Clifton a call. www.mypowerbrakes.com. All right, everybody. We are back. CrappieKast Live, as promised, 7 o'clock. We had to thank our sponsors. As y'all see, old Shiloh Chappelle up top, Mr. Tim Pentecost. John had to carry Jessica out to eat for her birthday, so he had a wedding this weekend. So when he asked me, I said, "Oh yeah, you better go." So that's where they are. They're out enjoying dinner somewhere. So he'll probably tune in and make some comments or something. But appreciate Shiloh and Tim stepping in here. They're always on the show in the comments, so now they're in the show live. So appreciate everybody. See what's going on, man. We got some people on here already. Heck yeah.
Jonathan's trying to set the doghouse.
Yeah, exactly. I hate it. I understand. Corey Newby, Zeke Reynolds, Mitch Blunt, Greg Hammett, Mr. Bill Lally Jr., Jeff Van Sickle from Michigan. Appreciate you tuning in, bud. Thank you. Wade Cole, he's tuning in from YouTube. Keith Spitzer. Oh, James Trott, he's ready. I guess he's got his rod. Chad Gillum, Rob Brooks. We're going to get into it. Y'all better pick Shiloh's brain while you can, because he's usually in the comments. Hello, Clinton. I had a good conversation with Clinton last night on the phone, man. We talked probably an hour, man. We had a good time. So
I took Bill out last week, I believe.
that's right. Yeah, you did. You took Bill out to, didn't y'all go to Neely? Y'all go to Neely or Wise?
Neely.
Neely, I catch you, yeah. I know y'all caught some good fish. That's what we were talking about before the show. Shiloh's had some real good trips, and Tim said Weiss is on fire right now. So
the upper Coosa right now is on fire. I'm sure Tim can agree with that.
Yeah, I know. I've been seeing Tim posting a lot of pictures as Shiloh as well. So that's Mitch Blunt said, "Hey Shiloh, send me some picture of your boat so I know what to look for."
It's just silver. Just look for silver.
Oh, Tommy Randolph, my buddy's tuned in from Florida, man. We appreciate everybody jumping on here, guys. We
buried that falcon up into a tree today, Shane. Tim was standing on the back of the boat like, "What are you doing?" I'm trying to get to the fish.
He's got that gorilla hole on the bottom. You testing that thing out, aren't you?
No, we weren't it wasn't in the water. It was above the water, and I was just going through it. That Spanish moss and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting to where I needed to be.
I hear you. That's good.
Just to get one to sniff it and turn around another way.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Ryan Dooley. Ryan Willis, appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. I know there's another live show going on right now, so I appreciate everybody that's watching. So we got all kinds of people coming out with lives and doing lives. And I don't blame these guys for doing lives, especially if they got sponsors to thank. Hey, I understand, you know. So I guess you're pre-fishing. You and Tim's pre-fishing for the tournament this weekend.
Yeah, we got down here yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, the Alabama Crappie Trails at I guess you're gonna say Jordan and the Prattville part of the Alabama River, right?
Yeah, Jordan and the upper part of the Alabama River.
Yeah, so you got a choice to fish either one. So I guess that's all Elmore County there. So
yeah,
that's good. I know, like I said, it's kind of you'll probably kind of agree with me. December, and Tim will too, I'm sure. This time of year, usually we've had a high water a few times and everything, but the river is below normal pool, and it is odd to me. I mean, I've never seen it in my lifetime.
It's clear, too.
Clear, exactly.
It is super clear.
It's super clear. So you, Shiloh, are you Using clear line or using high vis line? You Tim, same way. What are y'all doing since the water is abnormally clear? What are you guys
I
doing?
got high bass on, but
I'm sticking to my 4 pound clear
Gotcha. Well,
and
when
short hole.
I thought about you when I've been spending some time at Talc and Shallow. I'm open water schooling fishing, so crappie schools, and I got some 4 pound fluoro, and I wouldn't really worry about breaking off because you're out in open water, but you have to retie for them big ones, swallow it, but it'll handle them, because
I send it. I don't retie unless I break off.
that stuff's pretty tough though. Believe it or not, I haven't fished with four in a long time, so I've been using six. Did you? I meant to ask Tim. You've been trolling a little bit, hadn't you, Tim?
Maybe I did, yeah.
we got to do this yesterday for the first time in a long time.
Okay.
We had some customers that come about twice a year, so we went and they're used to it. So I had a guy trip, uh,
Group trip.
a group trip. So me and Daryl Baker did it together, and we trolled. And they knew what they were doing, so it made it easy day. We had
That's
110.
good, man. I seen the pictures.
Yeah,
It looked like y'all had a great trip, man.
yeah,
That's awesome. I know some people love that stuff, and that's what you used to do a lot of. So I'm sure
yeah.
they didn't mind at all. So I'm gonna get into this. Mark Boland, he made it. He said he had to work late. I know what question he's gonna ask, and we've talked about it before on the show, Shiloh. Sickle hooks versus J hooks. And hooked up the other day, and it was sickle hooks. And
I'm
kind of give your opinion, Shiloh. Go ahead.
so Tim can attest to this in my boat here recently. I've been playing with a new hook. It's from Guthrie Tackle. It's a number 4, just regular Aberdeen J hook with a wire keeper, and it is extremely sticky. I don't think there's Tim was with he was in the boat with me at Neely 3 days of pre-fishing there. I don't think we lost a fish that bit the bait.
Is it a
You
So
wire
drop it
hook
out
or
of the
what?
home
What
outfit
is?
with your home before it's ground.
so that's what I've been running. I try to stick with a J hook.
I got you. Yeah,
Yeah,
me
I'm
too.
not going
I
with the
had some.
sticker.
I had some sickles, and every time I'd hang it up and bend it, it seemed like once I bend it a couple times or back and forth, even a heavy fish, that thing's toast, man. It risks a chance of breaking. So,
I
I heard
broke
a bunch of horror stories from y'all guys, and I was like, man, I slowly eased away from them myself.
I broke a lot of sickles, and on all my hair jigs, like the pops, I'm running number 4 2 times strong steelhead hooks.
All right,
So because I have a hard hook set to begin with, so I'm trying to break their head off when I
all
set the
right.
hook.
Yeah, like I said, I guess you fish enough, Mark. Like he's saying, you have to customize your hooks, because just what you're accustomed to, your hook set and everything. Like I'm real rough on wire hooks. I can't, man. I'm just awful on them. Getting fish off. Next thing I know, that thing's shaped like an S. I mean, it's the
Hmm.
wire hooks. I mean, even though they stick fish and they do a great job and they're good for shooting docks and stuff, I understand, but I'm rough on them, man, big time.
Yeah, but that new hook I've been playing with is it's the real deal.
What is it called? What kind of hook
It's
is it?
just it's just a regular number 4. It's not a 2 times strong or anything.
Okay, okay,
It's
regular number 4. Okay,
I wouldn't say it's a light wire, but it's got a little bit of stiffness to it. But there's times when you hook them in that top part of that the upper lip, you'll have to sit there and work on them with pliers for about 2 or 3 minutes just to get it out of them.
I noticed those jigs I got from Pop's Gym. Man, I stuck some of them talcum fish, some of them healthy fish, and it
Yeah,
was.
they're
I mean, it was
sticky.
plier time. I mean, it was up in the roof of that fish's mouth, man.
They're sticky.
There you go. There's a question for you, Shiloh and Tim both. Where are the crappie biting on Neely? I know y'all guys could tell them we're not up there no more. So
I haven't been there in a since I took Bill out, but when I was there last time, they were pulling a lot of water pretty hard on the main river, and I noticed a lot of fish pulled into the creeks, anywhere from 6 to 15 foot of water.
I got you, Tim. You
On
agree with
it,
that?
Yeah, if they're not pulling water, I don't know. I don't know river ledges. There's just so much stuff on the ledges out there when they're not pulling water real hard to fish, and they usually fish on. I
That's good
love fishing
information.
ledges though, so I try to go there.
Got you. Yeah, I know you ain't. You're not having to travel up there since Weiss is doing good.
No,
For sure. What kind of? I seen
we got some
Brian
big
Reed.
fish on Weiss. I mean, our averages are huge this year. I
Yeah,
mean,
I've been noticing that.
we have several two pounders that fill, and we had six one day. It was two real big ones.
Yeah, I seen the pictures of them. I noticed that. You know, not just a normal 10, 11-inch fish.
Yeah,
There's some good
yeah,
14, 15-inch fish being thrown. And a lot of whites too. You know, that's what's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
A lot of whites. Old Brian Reed said, "Congrats on your progress. What type of tree would you suggest if someone was cutting a few off the bank to create a new top?" I wouldn't.
Sycamores.
Yeah, sycamores. What do you think, Tim? Yeah, I hear hardwoods. I know I talked to John earlier, and they had one of his neighbors had trimmed some water oak trees, and just a pretty
Hmm.
hard tree, and he tied them together and sunk them. He said there were fish on them in 3 hours. 3 hours later, he checked them. There were fish already on them.
So
Any kind
here's
of hardwood.
here's why I say sycamore. Sycamore, they hold a lot of water already, so
Okay,
it's not going to take a whole lot to sink them. So if you're out in your boat and you need to cut a couple quick that you just want to build some small brush piles on that lake, you can
right.
cut those sycamores, and those hardwoods are uh they're gonna snap. They're not gonna bend with the current. Those sycamores, since they're water, they're more fiber in them. They'll bend with that current.
Okay, yeah, because they are whippy, and like you said, I didn't realize they held that much water. But I haven't cut many sycamores, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
Shallow.
where
So,
where you'll need, let's say, 4 cinder blocks to sink a 20-foot tree, an oak, you'll need two for a sycamore.
oh, nice. That's good information there. Oh, Brian, that answered your question. I know there's some all over that river for sure. For sure, sure. Let's see. Make sure I get these first questions right. Mr. Blake McDaniel, what kind of knot do y'all normally tie? What do you use, Shallow?
Polymer, 100%.
Polymer. Yeah. Tim, what about yourself?
No, I use a loop knot most of the time, just
Yeah,
because
I
Hey,
it's
know.
fast, especially when I'm guiding.
this
Right.
I've seen Tim's loop knot. You could pretty much fit a basketball in it. So he's got the ultimate loop knot going on.
I tell you, you have to be very careful. Like some of those jigs, that gap opens up on them, and especially with that
Yeah,
4 pound lines. And I'll
don't
end up
play
having
with
to tie
it.
a polymer. But you're right. Tim's saying the loop knot for especially clients because it gives the bait more action without them
Yeah,
doing a lot. A lot of people can't shake that rod. They either do big hops or nothing at
Hmm.
all. So that
yeah,
loop really helping. Shallows,
It,
he's working his, so he ties that polymer which clenched down on the eye. So and he's putting the action to it. So I see Tim's point too. So
well, I mostly use it, especially guiding, because I can tie it like really, really fast. And
yeah.
we break off so much. I buy big heads by the 500, so and it don't take long to use them all. So
No, 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 it does not. Hey, I know the feeling, buddy. Especially when you're trying to, teach somebody, get them down in the
yeah,
cover. You want them in it, so you're gonna lose some
yeah.
of them.
If the fish is in there, I tell them to go in after it.
Tim
That's
Tim
right.
will get Tim will get after them fish in the cover too. I tell you what, in tournaments, if I'm got a fish that's buried in that cover that I don't want to go in after,
Tim's
Tim
going.
Tim get him, and
Tim's a recon. Tim's a
he'll drag
recon man. He's going.
he'll drag that 1/8 ounce. So he's either going to get him to bite or he's going to spook him out to where I can pick him off. So
That's awesome.
it's
Tim's a recon man. That's awesome. Hey, that's good stuff though. That's why you fish together, man.
we have
Oh,
a good
Mike.
time.
We had a
Mike
lot of
Fleener
fun
said
today.
he said thanks for the tips, guys. Had 19 on Tom Bigby today, man. That's good. That's good stuff, man. I guess the Tom Bigby's still clear
Back
too.
Back to the
I've never
structure.
seen
back to
I've
the
never seen the
structure. I
Tom
mean,
Bigby.
Back to the structure.
back to the structure. Any kind of tree is good. Anything the fish can get in, it's going to be good for a while. Some of them don't last.
To build
Right.
on what Tim's saying there, you got to remember a little goes a long way too.
Yeah,
You get a big piece of brush out there, a lot of little fingerlings are going to get on that. Whereas if you have a smaller piece that maybe half the size of your boat, you're going to get not as many fish, but you're going to get better quality out of it.
Right, because those little fish don't want to hang around the big ones and get or risk
Yeah.
getting a catfish and
Well, that bigger fish, he wants to get on something that he can own and run other fish off of.
right.
yeah,
I guess you could say he could homestead a little. That's a very good point because a lot of these stumps that you and I and Tim fish, there's not a lot of fish, but there's good fish on them because they're homesteaded, like you said. They're
Yeah,
yeah,
there'll be two, three, maybe 6 fish on it, but they're all going to be pound plus fish, good eater
solid
fish,
fish.
real big fish.
That's a
So
that's a good point. I've never heard that brought up, Shallow. Because it's kind of like having an apartment complex. You really don't know what's on the other end instead of like just having a single building. You kind of know what's going on. So
Yeah.
I got you. Would you put those little small brush piles close together, or would you just put one out, or put two or three, or
I'd do one and then maybe 30, 40 feet, put another one, just kind of
right
in a
somewhere
line
that
or
could
just in a general area, up on top of a flat or together along a channel edge or something like that.
right that way those fish can zoom back and forth because
Yeah, they
they do
can.
like to do that. I mean, for
If we
sure.
spook them off one, they're going to go to the next, or you know, that's what they're going to do. They're going to move around a little bit.
You can give yourself a bunch of options in the area and keep from having to pick up and move.
Right, yeah.
So
When you
much.
keep the trolling motor down, exactly. You're
Yeah,
right, Tim.
yeah,
That's a good idea. You're right. I love to keep my motor down and just bump to places and
yeah.
keep going away. I don't know if y'all realize, but we're giving a rod away tonight, and I typed in. You see my comment, www.fishoutlaw.com. When Tim says it, sometimes during the show, he's going to say, he'll interrupt whatever we're talking about. He's going to say now, and then he'll say what number. When Tim says it, not now, of course, but y'all be ready to do it because somebody's going to run a rod again. We've given away 3 or 4, I think, now. So we give away one every other show. Outlaw Rods does, and Tim's sponsored by Outlaw. So since John was going out to eat, I said, man, he's the outlaw man. He can give it away just as well as John can. So it worked out great,
Since the 2020 Expo in Branson, Missouri.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody's saying they had a limit on Mitchell today. Jamie Hall, good deal, man. He said he got a limit on Mitchell today. Yeah, I seen the win was. Yeah, Mitchell ought to be on. Mitch should be on fire.
Have you ever been to Mitchell?
Yeah, I've been to Mitchell. Oh yeah, I've been to Mitchell a few times.
That place is by far probably has the most numbers on the Coosa River.
Oh yeah.
That was probably one of the most fun places I think we fished everywhere last year.
What time of year was you there? What time was it? This Sunday? When was that?
It was May.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, it was.
And it was nothing to catch 65, 70 fish in May.
I remember that.
It was fun.
I remember you right there. You just dropped. You was right there by the launch. I remember.
100 yards.
I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Those are game lakes to guide on. If they were, I mean, I don't know how many people go down there to go through them for fish to get guide trips or whatever. But man, that'd be a paradise.
Yeah, I know. John was saying the other night, and he said, "Man, you been to Mitchell?" I said, "No." He said, "Man, if you're hanging around the house, you need to, because it's about 60 miles from here." So he said, "You need to go because, everybody knows about the Alabama brush piles, Alabama Power, and the Smart Lakes, and I'm sure they're loaded. It's no secret when you can find them things easily. So people can go down there and have a good time.
Me and Shallow and John and them planned on going back and staying sometime this year. We never have went yet.
You really don't even need to go 100 yards from the boat ramp.
Oh, I know. You're talking about the main river. Yeah. I know. You know what's crazy, Shallow? I've been there a good bit, and to be honest with you, since I have had live scope, I haven't. But I never really fished that main drag like you're talking about. You and John and Tim were talking about now. Now it's got me curious to go down there and try to get in it. So
it was seriously the amount of time it took the boat to get on plane. I was already letting out of the gas to get off the blade.
I remember that.
It was right. I mean, we didn't go. We stayed there all day long, pretty much. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. I remember, like I said,
the first ramp we put in that and tried.
I don't know. It's up that creek, Shane.
Blue Creek.
Yeah, it might be Blue Creek.
Blue Creek's down by the dam.
No, this one's so it splits. There's that creek that shoots way out to the east. Browers, I think maybe, or something like that.
I don't know. I ran all over it, but
there was thousands of fish. I mean, with it trolling, 30 yards of the ramp.
Oh yeah. That's what I remember y'all saying that. I do remember y'all saying that. Dana Greenhill was asking, the first comment in this thing, guys, at www.fishoutlaw.com, when Tim says now, you're going to share that on this, comment that exact thing on here, and then he's going to say number whatever is going to win the rod. So hopefully, we'll get close, but he's going to say now, but I appreciate you asking again, so because a lot of people don't know. So, yeah, Jacob's already practicing there. That's what you got to put. That's what you got to put, Jacob. What you typed in, man. James Trot. Nobody's going to talk about the Alabama River right now. I can go on and tell you that. And I could talk about where I fish on the Alabama River, but
I ain't talking about Alabama River or Jordan.
Isaiah's asking. He asked about Neely. Tim, what have you been catching them on at Weiss? As far as bait since the water's clear. Just
I've been using just the margarita or that Ozark smoke or Pop's Crappie jig.
Just a pretty clear, shad bait, I guess you would say.
Yeah. It's not as clear at Weiss as it. I don't think it's as clear at Weiss as it is here, to be honest with you.
I got you.
But it's
I've been using that
Ozark smoke. About anything you put on, you get close to them up there right now, they're going to bite it. So there's really not
That's
one
good.
that you can say is better than the other.
Right. I got you for sure. James said y'all ain't no fun. James, you got to. James said he's setting it out. He's not fishing. I guess he's not fishing it. So I know we were talking earlier before the show with the Miller's Ferry Inn that I fish. Those fish are moving right now, big time. So, and the only bad thing if you're on them now, today they may move today. They may be back by tournament day. The river's real unpredictable. And that's what makes it fun, guys. That river will teach you some lessons. Believe me.
They're both very unpredictable right now.
Yes. So, and I promise you. So, I guess you better just have your options. That every time I fish the river, whether it be Demopolis or Miller's Ferry, I make sure I have a lot of holes to hit because those fish do move. One day you might catch a limit, and the next day you go and it's zilch, it's zero. So, so that's part of it. That's what makes you a better fisherman. You got to adapt. For sure. I mean, it's oh, never mind. James said he's setting out the rod drawing because he won 2 weeks ago. He's fishing the tournament. Okay, my bad, James. I'm sorry, James. I've
never been to Jordan when there was good conditions.
Yeah, I believe. Every time you've been there, it's been flood and rain or. Frank said Hatchet Creek. Appreciate you, Frank. That's where you launched, probably.
Yeah, Hatchet.
There it is. Thank you, Frank. He appreciate you tuning in from YouTube. Yeah.
Shane,
I appreciate.
Shane, it reminded me of Towflin in January.
Talkin's unbelievable, dude.
This was in May.
Man, my buddy Troy Crocker has a place in Bird Creek down there, and I told him, like I said, I just don't go down there. I need to have my butt kicked for not doing it because I know it's a real good lake, especially now. Don was just talking about it. So if it doesn't get crazy Sunday here, I may go down there, but it's supposed to be blowing like crazy Sunday. So Saturday's gonna be good. Thank God for y'all's tournament, but Sunday's supposed to get crazy. So
I see
30
mile-an-hour gusts out of the east.
I got you. Dace is asking a good question here. Do white crappie relate to brush piles like black crappie? We don't have many white crappie here in Georgia. They sure do. I mean,
they'll be on the same brush piles.
Yep, they are right now. I've caught them in Miller's Ferry on the same stumps right now. They sure are.
I'm gonna say so. Them black crappie like that thicker stuff, them thick brush piles. You get a full tree down there. It's laying horizontally. It's got the limbs come out, and spread out. I think I tend to find more whites on that than I do blacks.
Yep.
A bigger treetop, more not a them black crappie like to sit in those bushes, whereas the whites like to sit in the tree. They like to spread out a little bit. So they don't want to be on one on top of each other.
Right. Even Logan Johnson, my buddy, he guides up there on Smith Lake, and y'all know how clear Smith is. He said they're mixed. He's been catching, he's opened my eyes a lot on Smith Lake. I've been up there to Smith Lake one time and shot some docks, and he's been going up there, guiding 4 or 5 days a week, and he's been catching some hammers, 2 3s, 2 20s.
I've seen his post. It's unreal.
He told me the other day they caught 50, and I'm like, oh, hold on, what?
He's catching big whites and big blacks.
And that's curious. That kind of puts Smith Lake on the map because there's a lot of people that the Warrior River kind of stinks right now till, after the first of the year, they can go up to Smith and hire Logan and, to try to learn some of that lake. That lake's huge too. So, but Logan's guiding up there. He told me he's doing it 4 or 5 days a week. And he's a bass tournament guy. Man, he does this to supplement his income. He fishes the bass tour. I don't even know what bass tour he's fishing this next year. It's hard for me to keep up with, but he travels all over the country, especially up north. So, but there he said he had 3 over 2 today scouting. So you want to go catch some, and hey, and they're pretty aggressive. You know, the ones I've seen him catch up there, for sure. Bo wants me to go over it again. What you got to do to enter the giveaway? All right, Bo. Last time I'll go over it here because we ain't gonna be far from giving away. You have to type in www.fishoutlaw.com when Tim says it. Tim's gonna say it sometime here after the halfway point. We're at 25 minutes in. Sometime he's gonna say now, and then be paying attention, guys, and then type it in. He's gonna say number 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever. Hopefully it's not way on down there because I don't want to count that far. And then somebody's gonna rent a 5-foot casting rod. I've got one behind me here, but they'll mail it straight to your hole. So, sure enough, appreciate you, Bo. He said he was dragging the deer out. So, I understand. I've been killing some deer, buddy, for sure. Jacob says, "Hi, I've been fishing for crappie where the channel meets the main lake. I've been fishing with fishing the flats right there. What are some other areas or terrain features I can focus on as well?" He's the guy from Kentucky. I remember this guy. The lakes draw way down, and he said it's drawn down 22 feet and 49 degrees, and he's trying to find some places where they migrated to. And, you know, do you think that the guy they ought to be schooling up there, especially the blackfish? Wouldn't you think?
Anytime, and really, I mean, a couple more degrees, I start looking at them creek channel bends. I know a big thing in Kentucky is slides, where the bank is actually slid down into the lake on the creek channel. That's a lot what I look for up there. But
Was it brush that slid in, or what is it?
trees that they'll still be standing straight up and down. They'll just slide off the bank down into the lake. The roots and everything just be standing straight up.
I got you.
You
I got
can
you.
look
Yeah,
on the bank and see where they slid off most of the time.
Okay, well, Logan's saying docks on channel swings. That's a great place too, guys. You got docks,
Yeah.
floating docks or something on channel swings. That's top information too, man. But Jacob said he's a rookie. Hey, man, there's no dumb questions on here, Jacob. Believe me, because I learn something every time I go out there, especially chasing fish, these schooling fish. I've been at Talcon learning every trip I go, so for sure. But yeah, I remember him talking about that Lake Kentucky that's drawed down. Whenever he does find them, what he said, what lake it was. Jacob, type in what lake it is, and you know, Shiloh, you know, he in his spare time he'll start breaking it down.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
I sit here and look at maps on.
Yeah, he loves doing that, man. Nolan Lake, Nolin Lake, Shiloh.
Northeastern Kentucky.
Yeah, be sure you follow Shiloh Chappelle Fishing and message him, and maybe y'all can share some tips. I'm sure he'll mind helping you, man, because
Yeah,
that's what.
in, like, Cumberland, because we were there in October when it was drawn down
Right.
3 feet, 34 feet. So that's a whole nother animal.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. That you know, putting together those patterns up there on those lakes. I know some people do really well. Y'all done pretty good in that Cumberland tournament, didn't you, Shiloh?
10th, I think, 9th or
Yeah,
10th.
I mean, yeah, I know. Most of the local guys are the ones that really.
Yeah, those guys they spend every day on that lake.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. It's but you know, as far as while we're about mid show here, overall December pattern. Like I'm coming from Alabama. I'm driving from Illinois. I'm coming down here 8 or 9 hours. I got my boat. Here I come down here. I'm gonna hit a lake right here. I may hit Mitchell. Then I may hit a river. River system. Miller's Ferry. I may be making me a big round trip. December right now. Water in the 50s. The water's clear, of course. Then the river is a little bit below full pool. No stain water. No bunch of current besides what they're producing. Power with. But what do I need to be looking for if I drop my boat in on the map and when I get my side scan fired up? As far as December pattern.
I'm looking for structure on channel bends in the river.
Okay.
I mean, That's going to be anywhere I'm fishing. Any sort of natural structures, stumps, old root balls, old logs that have sunk down in there. That's what I'm looking for. They're kind of. I want the stuff that's kind of up on top of the ledge, leaning down into the channel.
Right.
So
Are you finding those with your side scan and then investigating with your live scope, or what are you doing
yeah,
there,
I'm
Shiloh?
I'm gonna roll through there with side scan. If I see some stuff down through there, I'm gonna come back and just look at it with live scope.
You're gonna
I'm
mark
not
it,
necessarily I'm not necessarily gonna care if I see fish on my side scan or not,
right?
because them could be buried down in them
Oh,
stumps
I
or
know
trees.
they do. They do. And, we've talked about it before on the show, and Big Daddy's talked about it. It's crazy. You see a good looking structure, there ought to be fish on there, and you get up there with your live scope and you go
Hmm.
at it, and then you come back and look at it from a different angle, and you see those fish. You're like, hold on. You're not, they're in there tucked away trying to hide from current or just
Yep.
their nature because, that river, they have 4 turbines down below you there, without the river you're talking about. So that thing can haul butt. It can have a lot of
Even
currents.
even Neely, Weiss, any of the Coosa River right now.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
good
let's go ahead and
information. I
give that
always
rod
want to.
away. Let's go ahead and give that rod away to number 9.
There he goes. He said, type it in, guys. Number 9. Y'all type it in. www.fishoutlaw number 9. There you go, Tim. He called it. I'll count number 9. We'll let them load up because I'm telling you, it'll start clicking off like a slot machine. I like it, man. It fires me up.
Yeah.
It fires me up, man. I like it. I'm sure there's already been 9 of them already, and there has been, I'm sure. I'm gonna update this thing, guys. Again, my screen updates really fast. Yours may be missing some comments, but this since I'm the host, I promise you I'm counting number 9. I'm not just randomly picking somebody. Let's go down here and see where they start, and we'll count them. Appreciate Tim Maddox being on here. See when they start. I'm scrolling down. Man, I ain't started hitting them yet. Shiloh, while I'm counting, talk about what you're using, your casting rig and your long rig. What you're,
Yeah.
what?
So right now I'm running 7-foot trick stick light by Jinko, 4-pound fluorocarbon line down to a 16th with that
Mm,
number 4 hook wire keeper. And Tim can attest to this. I've been running Crappie Monster Margarita small fry almost exclusively for the last month and a half now. Tim, wouldn't you
Yeah.
say?
I've been using it for about 6 months.
Yeah. So if I'm able to get close to them fish with a long pole, I'll put a 64th ounce shiner pops hair jig on them. But most of the time I've been casting here recently.
we got a winner here. I'm gonna add it up here. 1. Jacob Alcorn was 1. Darren Bircher 2. Lee Johnson 3. David Bailey 4. Philip Donson 5. Roger Brown 6. Keith Spencer 7. Adam Acker 8. Holden Higgs was number 9. That's what you said, Tim, right?
Yeah.
Number 9, Holden Higgs. You won a 5-foot casting rod, man. Congratulations, buddy.
Shane, you about ran out of fingers.
I know, man. You can't make me, man. I appreciate it, but I don't know how many people typed it in, but they put it out there, guys. Appreciate y'all for sure, man. I promise you. Let's see. Sonny Mooney's got a good question. Sonny's saying he can't get the fish on lay to eat, and lay lake ought to be pretty good. What kind of tips can you give Sonny?
Keep firing. That's the story of the lower Coosa right now. Once you get below Neely, and I mean I can't attest really for Logan, maybe James Strock can, but Neely the bite's been pretty good. White's been the bite's good, but we've got a little bit more. I shouldn't say dirtier water, but it's not as clean. Um, but the lower Coosa right now, Jordan, the river, I'm sure Mitchell's fishing the same way. It's just extremely tough, and fish are getting good looks at the bait, and they're just not one to eat.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I've been to Towkin, and you're talking about seeing, without exaggerating, 3,000 fish. And we're catching our limit of 50, but you're talking about 2 or 3,000 guys, and you're only getting 50 to bite. That's not pretty good odds. So you got to realize how many fish you have to go through, Sonny, to get some to
Oh,
fire. I mean,
that's
it's
I always try to get the fish's attention and then keep it moving, and then
right,
you know you ever
right. Y'all
slow
do the
down,
same as me. Yeah,
you ever
the
slow down and stop, it's done. Yeah.
right. I know that's right. That's what's the hardest thing to me to preach to people. When that fish engages your bait, guys, and the closer he is to my bait, the faster I reel. If it's got a gap, I'll slow down a little bit. If he's right on the tail of my jig, I'm reeling.
My
That may
favorite word on a guy trip's reel, 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 reel.
exactly me too, guys. I had that kid a couple weeks ago. He's 11 years old, and I would shoot the jig out there for him. Thank God the wind, and it would go down, and I'd hand him the rod. I said, "Hey, buddy, you're gonna fish it. I'm gonna put it where it needs to be." And he would twitch that rod, and one would engage it. I said, "All right, put it in gear." He start reeling, and I'd be like, "Speed it up." Hey, next thing I know, his little butts over, and then them fish would just hammer him. I was getting so fired up, like I was catching him. He caught 30 something fish, man. I was so fired up, guys. That
A lot
made
of
my
things
day.
clients, a lot of things clients don't realize is when that fish turns, they want it to stop. And I tell them all the time, I said, you'll never outreel a fish. If
Can't.
they want it bad enough, they will run it down. It don't
I've
matter
had
if
him
it's
hit the bottom of my boat. I've had him hit the bottom of my boat, literally.
hmm
Boom, hit it because they didn't get the jig. They're so cross-sided, concentrating on that jig.
Yeah.
But you're
That
exactly right.
you will not. They're too fat. You will not outreel them. If they want it bad enough, they'll catch it.
If you hesitate or anything, you may not even feel like you hesitated any, and they'll turn around.
Exactly. They've said it before. That fish. I'll just draw an illustration. Exactly what everybody's talking about. Here's your little jig. Here's the fish. You get him engaged, and he's dropping his tail. If you ever slow it down and flatten him out, that's it. His switch is cut off. He's no longer. He's not like me. If I sniff a hamburger, I'm going to get it. But he's just, he's just like it's a cat and mouse game. So when that fish engages, you keep his tail down and keep him going. You reel it faster, like it's trying to get away, or you twitch your rod. There's little games you have to play, Sonny, to make those fish bite, and it may differ from day to day. But overall, not stopping your bait's going to work for
Day to
sure.
day, I would almost go fish from fish. Each fish has
That's
their own
true.
attitude.
Because everybody's experienced this. I've actually thrown my jig in the water and it splashed and they start running at it. And you're
hmm
like, what? And they're racing. That's what kind of day you want when they're racing. When they're
Yeah,
racing towards your bait, I know I use my hands a lot, but when they're racing at your bait, that's the optimum. That's when you want it. When
that
there's
was
two or
that
three of
top.
them chasing it, yeah, happens at Talcon a bunch, guys. Talcon run. It will ruin you, man. It's
I've never seen crappie do that other than at Towflin. When that jig hits
oh,
it is like um, tuna blowing up on fish out in the ocean. It's
it really is.
crazy.
They are totally mad at it, and they're getting that way as the water gets cooler, for sure. After Christmas, it'll be for sure. Old Pops Jig's asking a good question here. Oh, Mr. Jim, what should I do on a Southern Illinois lake this weekend, Shiloh?
Depends on what lake. You got
Yeah,
Kincaid, Wren, Crab, and you could do completely different things on each one.
yeah,
Wren, I would say fish the stumps on the north end of the lake, and they're probably 4 to 6 foot right now.
right.
Crab, I'd fish stake beds on all the points. And Kincaid, I'd be looking for the dirty water and looking for big fish up moving around. It might be in 40 foot, might be in 10 foot, but they'll be within 10 foot of the surface probably. But that's what I would be doing.
Exactly. Holden said he can't wait to try the reel out. Darren said he's just gonna go ahead and order the rod. He's not waiting to win one. I hear you, Darren. You're like me. I'm like, I can't win it. I'm just gonna order it. Oh man, that's awesome. Let's see. Make sure I haven't missed any questions. All that www.fishoutlaw racked them down through there, buddy. William White, he's talking about the Mad Adam trip. We're actually talking about doing that. I think it's been suggested we do it in February sometime. And what we're doing, we're talking about this Mad Adam trip. We're going to try to get everybody that wants to come. It's not a term. It's nothing. I just want to be able to fellowship at whatever lake we go to, stay there, Shiloh's on fish. He calls people, hey man, they're over here, and just share and put a picture together to make PETA mad. You know what I'm saying? When you lay a bunch of fish out, that's what my goal is. To lay a lot of fish out and make PETA just, I want to get death threats, guys. You know what I'm saying? I really do. Like I want, I really want people to catch fish, and that's what the Mad Adam Tour is going to be. We're going to pick a lake. Shiloh, Tim, Kevin, Jessica, John and Jessica, whoever wants to come. It does not matter. We're going to get on that lake, and we'll meet at one launch just like we're going to fish a tournament or something, and everybody go out and have some fun. I think it'd be awesome,
Oh, Mitchell.
Yeah. You can fill the whole parking lot up with some fish at Mitchell.
Yeah, so that might be a lake to do it in. Hey, that might be a lake to do it in, just...
You
like I said,
Kevin, I'll tell you what though, if Kevin's not up by the end of this podcast, he's staying with us, y'all. I'm gonna have to go get it. I'm gonna have to go get a stick out of the yard here. I'm gonna have to go poke him with it, make sure he's still alive.
He must be tired. He must be tired.
He didn't sleep last night, that's for sure.
Yeah, William, that's what we're gonna do, man. We're talking about it. We got a big crappie tournament April the 6th at Miller's Ferry. CrappieKast Kings of the River. That's gonna be a great tournament. We're gonna really start pumping it up the first of the year, guys. I want to get some sponsors on board. We're going to try to get that pod up, try to get us 40, 50 boats, hopefully, good Lord willing. And we'll do it at Bridgeport, one of the nicest launches in the state. So we're going to go down there, and I look for some big weights, 7 fish, 14 plus that time of year in April. So that's going to be fun.
You'll get some big bags in April.
That's what we want to do. I want to see some big bags, man, celebrate how big them crappie really get. So we'll talk about more in future shows for sure. But the Mad Adam Tour, I'm guessing February, William, and like I said, we'll just we'll take a vote on the show. Mitchell's fine with me. Hey, anywhere with a lot of people can catch some fish. That's what we want to do it. I know it's been talked about you fall and stuff like that, but whatever. Hey, for sure.
You don't have to look for them at you fall.
Yeah. Let's see, guys. Okay, I just got Mr. Jim Bailey, Pop's Jig, said he's counting it. He's giving away jigs for that tournament in April. He just said he's going to give away a dozen jigs. So he said it'll be at the tournament. So there's one. Matter of fact, I'll write that down. He won't let me forget. Heck.
He's probably already got them sent to you.
Oh yeah, he just sent me my goodie bag the other day. I ordered. I think he had a car wreck or wrecked a truck or something. He was down and out a little bit, so it took him a little bit.
Good.
He sent me some jigs, man. Them things look so good. I'm gonna drown some of them at Talcon this next trip I go to. You told me to hide that brown one that's up top, the copper one.
Yeah, that's my end of the spawn bait right there.
Oh yeah,
You
tricks
use
and
it all
sticks
summer long.
jigs. Oh yeah, I remember that. That's what you fished the Wally Marshall.
Yep.
That's what that's exactly what you used.
Mm-hmm. From about April to October, I used it.
There you go. What unit and transducer are you using, Shiloh?
I've got an 8612 with the LVS 34.
Okay, Tim, what about you?
I got the 146.
I got you.
Up 34.
Got you. I'm actually got a 16-inch screen. I've been finally been able to get my hands on one 86-16. I have to get it picked up, and I'm still running the old 32. I have never upgraded to the 34. But
if anybody is on the fence about buying a live scope, a 34 or a 32, Monday 15% off. I mean, $1,440.
okay, where's that at, Tim?
Bass Pro.
Oh, Bass Pro. Okay. Oh, heck yeah. There you go, guys.
$200,
Yeah, I mean that for sure.
I think I'm gonna order 190. just have a scope.
Yeah, Frank's saying if you go to Mitchell, they've got a winter bass hammers tournament. I'm not going there Saturday, Frank. I'm going to Demopolis. I appreciate you giving me a heads up, but no, I'm not going down there Saturday. For anybody that is, I appreciate it. For sure, I appreciate giving a heads up. Especially if we're trying on somebody planning on crappie fishing, guys, somewhere of a big bass tournament, mention it on here for sure. Say somebody, they may want to put in somewhere different, choose another lake. So whatever, we're trying to help each other out here because we don't we don't want you getting, messed up with a bunch of bass boats because they're mad at them and they are running and gunning. So make sure I didn't miss any questions.
You'll like the 34, John. You will.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna break down and get one. I just
The separation is a lot better.
that's what I've heard. I'll probably end up if it's the 16 screen. I'll probably end up having to. Trippie Sticks Jigs. He said he's gonna send a couple gift certificates for a dozen jigs for the tournament too. There you go. There's 2 dozen tournament jigs right there, guys. He ties some fine jigs too. I've got some of his over there in my box actually. I've caught a few fish on them. But they're so darn pretty. I hate to put them in the water. They like the ones Jim ties from Pops.
Not me. I
Oh yeah, Edward Martin from YouTube. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. He said, "What brand line are you using, Shiloh?"
I've got a little bit of everything in the boat right now. SOS, K9, Cigar, Sunline. I've been playing with a bunch of them here recently.
I know a lot of people use that red label cigar, right? I see a lot of people talking about that.
I like it. I like the Sunline. The SOS is good.
So what pound you running? You running the 4 pound on your 7 foot?
Yeah, 4 pound SOS. What I've been playing with here recently.
Okay.
And then K9. You can't go wrong with them either.
Gotcha, Tim. What line are you running most of the time?
I think 99% of the time 6 pounds. I do have food. I'm most happy with high.
Gotcha. I know most of it's consistent. Most people are using 4 and 6. It just depends.
The only thing about K9, the 6 pound is almost as small as the 4 pound in the other line. So.
Right. Yeah. I've used the 4 pound K9 on those casting rods that I carry to Talcon, and hey, they'll get a 16th down, especially a minnow head or some of those from Limits Tackle, the wedge heads. They'll get down quick. So. James Trott, I've been told the fishing is better at Miller's Ferry than on the upper river. What do you think? Yeah, the upper river is what I've been told, James. It cycles big time. It goes through cycles. When Josh Jones and all them were fishing, a couple years ago when it was flooded, they were raying. I think the record for Crappie Masters was there not too many years ago before they started going to Grenada on the upper end of the river where the tournament is. But overall, I would say, especially right now, I would say the lower river, is really on. The Miller's Ferry is probably a little better fishing, but that's not to say that you can't catch them up on that end, James. You just got to put some work in, to find those fish. For sure. Make sure I hadn't missed any questions, man. Last show, man, I missed all kinds of questions. I had to go back and try to answer them, and I didn't want to miss any. Shiloh had answered a bunch of them, thank God, and Tim had too.
I remember last show, everybody was asking about something besides live scope, and stuff.
Oh yeah.
If anybody wants to start a rig, this is the best time of the year to push minnows and spider rigs. It's just you can get out on the ledges with stumps and just keep going.
Yeah. I know Tim's running some trips. He'd be glad to carry you on a pushing trip right now. Why? So I guarantee you.
Yep.
If you want to learn that style of fishing, because we do, everybody gets caught up in live scope because that's just that's the popular thing right now. And Tim's been running some trips, like he said, pushing minnows and pushing jigs, and it still works.
Not everybody's a tournament fisherman, and not everybody fishing all the time where they'll buy live scope, and we still have a whole lot of people that come to Weiss. They want to learn how to spider rig, or they still want to learn the throw or whatever. So it pays off to be able to do it all. Be able to do it.
Oh yeah, it does. It's not dead. I promise you guys. So for sure, it's not dead. I mean, the other day, a couple trips ago, the current was moving so bad I couldn't use my live scope so I literally had to take my boat and spot lock it and throw and count the jig down. And as soon as I ticked them limbs, I was getting slammed. I mean, I was just, once the fish are hot and they're there, you don't have to, you're just really like a spotlight. You're like, well, they're there. That's all I need to see. Now I need to do what I do, and keep the bait down in the brush and make contact with it. And that's the thing about, Shiloh and Tim and myself and John. We've always fished a certain way with our rod, action and everything. We didn't change it when you bought Live Scope. You did. Now you can just see it, and it confirms everything that you've been doing. But what's crazy is you didn't realize how far those fish travel till they bit. Everybody thought there might be something right there, that they just come out of it. Some of those fish done move 20 feet to eat your bait, when they engage it. And that's what Live Scope showed me. I was like, man, I didn't.
We used to once our bait was there, we jigged it a few times or whatever, we reeled it back in to, we didn't realize.
Exactly. There's no telling how many fish. There's no telling how many fish chased our baits over the years. We just, Shallow. Did you long rod all the time before Live Scope?
I long rod pretty much until I started tournament fishing.
I got you.
I'll put it until I started tournament fishing when I moved down here. Illinois, you can long rod 12 months out of the year every day if you want.
Right, because the stumps and the way the lake's set up.
Stumps, dirtier water.
Gotcha.
Most of the time fish aren't. We don't have the rivers, so they don't really move as much. They just hold tight. So
I think all of us here was fishing, crappie fishing way before Live Scope in a lot of different ways.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I power fished up there. I mean, stump to stump to stump, or brush pile to brush pile.
Yeah, you just covered some water till you started popping fish. I mean, basically.
Yeah, I mean.
Same way we done here. Jacob asking a question. You ever use weedless jigs for crappie? That's how I grew up, beating treetops with weedless jigs. And I trim them a certain way, Jacob, and bend the hook up, where I get more. I don't lose a lot of fish, but I throw a lot of weedless jigs, especially some of the brush I fish, man, because it's pretty thick. But that's how I grew up fishing, just beating trees down with. And now, if in June, I cut my transducer cable in half, and I ran a trip without it. And all I done was search with a weedless jig, found my brush, told them where to throw, told them where to, to count down the jig in the brush, and that's how we caught them. But I use weedless jigs a lot. Some people don't, but I do.
I don't. I've never really needed to.
No, you're watching, especially with a long rod, you're watching that bait. You can kind of watch it fall on that limb and this limb, that limb. But I use them a good bit, Jacob. But if this cover's not thick enough, don't even don't even break them out. Don't even fool with them, to be honest with you, especially in open water. There's no sense in having one. That's just something to get in the way of the hook set. Yeah, Chad, no kidding. He said we was hoping. We was not hoping. We were not scoping. We were hoping. Yeah, that's the truth. Back then, you did. Yeah.
I remember long rodding right before Live Scope come out in the spring. April, May, fishing 18 inches, 2 foot deep. When that hair jig would disappear, that's where you would hold it up there in that shallow water on them limbs and stuff.
Right.
You see those big males swirl on it. That was probably the most fun I've ever had.
I grew up fishing lily pad roots, like in Friley's Creek on the Warrior River. And you get 3 warm days in February, and the water jump up 56, 58 degrees, and you can literally go up there and throw an acid rain curly tail. I'll never forget this. And just reel it and pop it, and you could see the jig, and you would literally see those fish just to disappear. Woof. They'd side swipe it coming out of those root balls of those lily pads. That brings back so many memories of me and my buddies back over the years, man. God, we used to cream some fish doing that.
That's how it was back home. I mean, my first boat was a 1983 Bass Tracker with a Blue Label 40 horse on it.
There you go.
And I didn't have any electronics. I just went from brush pile to limb to stick on the bank and just dipping, a 16-ounce jig.
I had a Fisher, a 17-foot Fisher with a 28 special on it. And I beat that river to death with that thing. I caught a ton of fish because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
you're just resilient,
I paid $500 for that boat, and I mean, I put it through the ringer. I didn't care. If I wanted to fish there, I was going to fish there, and that's just how it was.
That's exactly right.
I didn't care about scratching it. I didn't care about running it into stuff. I was just fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm the same way. I guess, I was really resilient back then too, man. I was going to fish what I fished, but now, in the back of your head, you got so many options now with live scopes, and it does it's a double-edged sword. You'll be second guessing yourself, especially in the tournament game like y'all are, You're like, man, I
But
caught some fish here, and for sure. It is a double-edged sword. What is Curtis Nick saying? He said, if I have an older Tarova spot lock drops out a lot, or the newer models better at staying spot locked. I don't know about the Tarovas.
uh,
I know.
I know there's a setting in there in your remote you can go to. It may be the boat weight or the fact that it's twisted around trying to shift itself. But I had one when I first got one of my older boats, but it was
Okay.
pretty good. If I hit spot lock, it kept me there. But it had to be on a windy day. If it wasn't windy,
Yeah, it moved a
I
lot.
think it's
we're
called boat
darn.
scale on Coda.
Boat scale.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's called
boat
boat
Yeah,
scale.
scale.
that may be something you have to message them, Curtis, about that. That's something I know nothing about. Uh, my boat does pretty good with the Garmin, but I know that I've heard Tarovas talking about that. So they're saying there's a setting in there you may be able to adjust to help your boat stay a little more one spot. So
My spot lock button don't even work on my old tracks. I, I think that's the only broke piece of equipment on my boat.
This
you're
last,
doing
this
good though.
last,
Hey,
this last update was supposed to make Garmin's even better, but I
yeah,
hadn't.
I seen them. They put that out today. I got an email about a Garmin update where it talks
Yeah,
to your screen. Did you do yours already, Tim?
I did it, but something's going on because it's like every time I go to the water, it starts doing the updating thing again, and I
Okay.
just was gonna let it go through it last time, and it did it for an hour and a half.
Oh, good. No, I
So,
haven't touched
so
mine yet. I
I'm gonna
usually
let it
don't do an
do
update when it comes out real fast because I want everybody to kind of get some feedback off everybody. Cause I seen the email, so I haven't touched my Garmin, my forced trolling motors at all yet. So knowing my luck, I know John's running the new Ultrex. He's in love with that thing. Eric's running it. I guess you're still running the old one, aren't you,
Oh yeah,
Shallow?
I'll rock it till it falls off the boat.
There you go, huh? I don't blame you for sure. Don't blame me for sure, man. Let's make sure, man. We had a bunch of questions, a lot of comments, gave away a rod. It's been a good show. That hour flies by. We're 57 minutes.
Mhm.
I mean, just crazy, guys. Man,
It's
y'all better
amazing.
ask some questions while you got Shiloh and Tim on here because they're going to be in tournament mode come tomorrow. So where are y'all launching out of? You have the live well check where at Cooter's Pond,
No, state ramp at Jordan,
State Ramp at Jordan, and then you're going to be able to drive to Cooter's Pond, Swift Creek, wherever on the river, or launch at Jordan, right?
wherever. We're gonna flip a coin, I think, at this point.
Hey, it is what it is, man. What kind of weight you think's going to take? Just guessing. You ain't.
I have no clue.
It's 5 fish now, right?
Buy fish. If somebody gets lucky and catches, I don't know, 9.5, they're gonna be in good shape.
Yeah, Rodney Talley just put 954. That'd be a pretty good weight with 5 fish.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a couple fish can go a long way with 5 fish.
Oh yeah, big
You
time.
catch,
Yeah, that's the
catch
thing. A big fish really helps. A big kicker fish when you narrow it down to 5 for sure.
you catch a 220, 20 or 230, or I mean, you're fishing Jordan and the river. You could luck into one of them big 3 pounders. Honestly,
Oh yeah,
that
I like to see those. Man, I like to see those
that
things.
fish could go a long way right now.
That 365 come out of Swift Creek, in the NCL. You
Yeah,
know,
yep. And
365. That thing looked fake. It was so
and
big.
look how far that fish went. I mean, that was 5 fish format. It jumped them all the way up there.
Yep, sure did. I remember that. For sure enough. It says
But
Shiloh and Tim, nine
I,
ninety nine and Illy. Can y'all beat it? That's what Chad Gillen said.
yeah, that nearly kind of stung me a little bit. Them fish didn't bite all week, and or they did bite all week. I should take
I
that
know.
back. Every time I was on the water, I'm like, we're gonna bust 11 plus on my scale.
I
This is gonna,
remember that. You was very confident. You told me y'all
oh
had been y'all
man,
had been wiping them out. So
we just everywhere I put the troll motor down, I was in big fish. It was crazy.
I
That
remember.
tournament day, I couldn't get them to bite. It's, Tim had to stop me from fishing just about tournament day because I had 3 giants on the backside of a tree that I'm like, just I'd get one to look and he'd sit there and index on it for 20 seconds. And at 3 o'clock, I'm like, I pull my bait out of the water. Like, I want to go back out. And once weighing was done, I was like, I want to go back over that tree, see if I can't get one of them to eat because they were that big.
Man, I remember you saying that in the show for
I ran a
sure.
trip. I ran a trip that Sunday, the day after the tournament, and I think we had 5 over 2. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's
It
crazy.
just,
That's the way it works.
I was frustrated.
That's the way it works, guys. I meant to say something. We're at 6,900 followers on Shane Jones fishing page. I posted earlier. We hit 10,000. Somebody's winning a whole weekend trip with me. Maybe at Talcon, maybe at Miller's Ferry. We hit 10,000 followers on this page. I promise you, we're going to go all weekend and have a good time, cook, eat, catch a bunch of fish. So I think that'll be a pretty good giveaway. We'll figure out how we're going to give it away when we reach 10,000. But we are, this show is verified on YouTube now. We're a partner. We finally reached enough to get verified. So I'm going to be making a little bit of content. You know, I may get some from Shiloh, Tim, anybody. I'm going to be putting content together, some teaching content, not just seeing my fat head catch some fish, you know, some like stuff you can actually use in your area or where you catch fish. So I wanted to say that before we got off this show. I'm going to try to do some filming in Demopolis this weekend and, you know, show kind of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And that way it may help somebody. I mean, if it helps you catch a couple more fish, hey, it's worth it to me. I promise you. So, Shiloh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You and Tim, good luck to y'all, man. What time is y'all? Good luck to y'all. Like I said,
6:30, 2:30 Saturday.
6:30, 2:30. If somebody, hopefully they'll be going live on the way in the Alabama Crappie Trail Saturday. For sure. Amos wants to know who won the rod. Holden Higgs won the rod. Clifford Amos. I want to say Amos. It's Amos Livingston. I keep wanting to say Clifford, and I know he don't go by that. So, man, I appreciate y'all guys, man. Appreciate all you tuning in. There's still 80 people on here. I appreciate these loyal followers we have that tune in every week, that ask questions, that like everything we post, that support Shiloh, Tim, John, Jessica, Kevin, everybody that fishes. The same people, they follow us, follow me, and I appreciate all y'all, man. I promise you, I don't.
If we didn't get to the question or we didn't answer it fully, reach out to Tim, reach out to myself. Most people know that have sent me a message. I've texted them back or called them back and explained.
Oh yeah, big time, guys. These guys are about sharing. I promise you. Nobody's a snob, for sure.
And I'm not better than anybody. I'll answer. You know, if Shane, you were to call me after this and be like, "Hey, I don't know what to do," I'd answer and tell you exactly what I would do.
Exactly. That's what it's about, guys. It's a sharing community. You know, we always kid around. You know, but they got a tournament and you don't want to give too much away what they're kind of doing, whatever. Hey, next week, I promise you, Shiloh will get on here and tell you exactly what he did. Hey,
Saturday at 2:31, I'll tell you.
Exactly. So, I mean, you learn from that, guys. You can go up there and pick up fish if you're fishing that's your lake. Tim, Shiloh, thank you again. Appreciate y'all filling in. They're always on the show, guys, answering questions in the comments. But we'll be back next week, live 7 o'clock Thursday. Appreciate it. Y'all keep liking the post. Let's get to 10,000 followers. Let's give away a weekend trip. I think it'd be fun. Who never knows? You might just be able to jump in the boat on one of these Mad Adam tours and we go to town. So we're planning on starting that February. So appreciate y'all. Y'all hang on, Shiloh, and them stay on the show. We'll see y'all next Thursday, guys.